So, UFC 307 is coming up this weekend and Alex Pereira is gonna face off against Khalil Rountree in the main event. And to be honest, I think this fight is kind of a layup for Alex Pereira. I don't know why this fight is happening either, to be honest. Like, Khalil's most recent win was against Anthony Smith, out of all people, which should not get you anywhere near a title shot if we're being real. But it's still a Pereira fight, so it'll probably be pretty entertaining, and in this video I'm gonna predict and break down this fight. And let's start by going over the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. Pereira is of course a striker, and I would actually go as far as to say he's the best striker in the UFC right now. The guy often gets a lot of credit for his power, but something that is quite overlooked is how skilled and technical of a striker he is. You can't become glory champion in 2 weight classes without having S-tier technique. And people forget, man, Pereira was actually out-striking Adesanya in their first and second fight in MMA. Just had to piss off the Adesanya fans there. He's also very good at setting up that deadly left hook. The fight against Strickland is a perfect example of that. Pereira threw a bunch of jabs to the chest of Strickland and basically conditioned Strickland to overparry whenever Pereira threw his left hand. And then he threw his deadly left hook and slept him. And speaking about the left hook, his left hook is probably the most dangerous weapon he has. Once he touches his opponent with it, it is basically guaranteed he's knocking them out. I don't know how he has so much power in that thing. Another weapon he has are the leg kicks. Pereira has some of the nastiest leg kicks in MMA right now. Zero telegraph when he throws those kicks. Like, he was out leg kicking the leg kicking merchant Adesanya himself. The only weakness Pereira has in his striking is his lack of defense though. He does get tagged a decent amount in his fights, but that weakness actually gets cancelled out by his stone chin, and he also rolls with a lot of punches, so it takes away some of the sting from the punches that do land. And of course the most obvious weakness Pereira has is his grappling. Everyone who's done well against him has done it by taking him down. Now, just like Pereira, Rountree's biggest weapon is his striking. The guy has some really good highlights. His style is based around Muay Thai, so obviously he's gonna have really good kicks. He also often deals major damage by just exploding with big meaty hooks out of nowhere. Shout out Lucas Tracy, man. He's also very powerful and it makes for a very exciting style. However, he does have some pretty obvious holes in his game. The first one is his lack of cardio. In the first round, he has really good power and he's very active. But after the first round, he starts fading away very quickly. Another obvious weakness is the fact that he drops his hands when throwing combinations, and specifically when he's throwing his left hand, which makes him very open for counters. He also telegraphs his punches quite a bit. Now let's move on to the win conditions for each fighter. So Pereira is obviously gonna want to keep this fight standing. He's a double glory champ, and I think it's pretty obviously the best striker in the UFC right now. In the first round, I want him to stay out of boxing range and mainly use leg kicks, because Rountree starts gassing after the first round. So in the second, he's gonna be a lot more sloppy on the feet and less dangerous. And that's where I think Pereira can catch him with a left hook counter as Rountree throws his left. Because as I said earlier, Rountree drops his guarding hand whenever he throws his left, which leaves him very open for a left hook counter. And we all know that Pereira's left hook is his best punch. Now, Rountree is going to want to make use of his explosiveness, which is his biggest strength on the feet. As we know, Pereira does get tagged a decent amount, so there is a chance he could catch Pereira with some of his big meaty hooks. Shout out Lucas Tracy again, he back again. And Rountree hasn't shot a single takedown in his UFC career, but I think it's time for him to shoot his first against Pereira, because even though he isn't the grappler, it will catch Pereira off guard, and Pereira does have some pretty obvious flaws in his grappling. But let's move on to the actual breakdown, and as you read in the title, I will be going with Pereira here. I know, crazy take. I heard all the big names on MMA YouTube were picking Rountree, and I was like, nah, what are they on about? I gotta make a video and spit some facts. No, but obviously most people are picking Pereira here, and rightfully so. I think it's gonna take a lot for Rountree to win this fight. First of all, Rountree's a striker and he's pretty good, you know, but Pereira's also a striker and he's really good. Probably the best the UFC has ever seen, and Khalil hasn't shot a single takedown in his entire UFC career. And grappling is the key to beating Pereira, so having good grappling is essential, but Rountree doesn't have that. So I think this fight is gonna come down to the striking, and to be honest, Rountree does have a chance on the feet. He is a good striker and he could catch Pereira with a winging hook, but the problem is that Rountree has lost to strikers who aren't even close to Pereira's level. He got KO'd by Walker, and he should have lost to Jacoby. And Jacoby is very good, but he isn't Pereira, and Pereira has won against strikers who are way better than Rountree, and that's without mentioning his wins in kickboxing. And then there's also the fact that Rountree drops his guarding hand when he throws his left, which makes him very open for left hook counters. And Pereira's left hook is the punch that puts people to sleep. And all this is without factoring in the reach difference. Pereira's a lot taller than Rountree, which means that Rountree is gonna have to get past that reach in order to land his hooks. And even if he gets past the reach, he runs the risk of getting slept. Now, all that said, I am a little scared about this one, because it's one of those times where everyone is counting a dude out, and then he somehow wins. And I definitely have that feeling in this one. Like, I don't know how you can argue that Rountree's gonna win. I'm very confident that Pereira will win. But I just got that feeling that somehow Rountree's gonna get it done, even though it makes no sense. But that said, I will be going with Pereira here, because my predictions aren't based on how I feel, they're based on logic and realism. I think Rountree gets a couple blitzes off, but Pereira's gonna make reads and get used to the speed, and eventually I think Pereira puts him out cold with a left hook in the first round as Rountree drops his right while throwing his left hand. So yeah, Pereira first round KO. That's it for today, guys. Check out my last video where I talked about if grapplers are ruining the UFC. Thanks for watching, subscribe, leave a like and comment you got in this fight. And also don't forget to share this to someone who thinks Rountree is gonna win, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.